In the future, there are going to be two types of people. One, people who know how to use AI smartly. Two, people whose job will be automated by AI. I definitely don't want to be in the second bucket, and neither do you. So in this video, I am going to share how I have been adopting AI, specifically ChatGPT, as part of my daily job as a data scientist, so you can learn from it. The tips and hacks that I'm going to share can be applied to any job family, including coders, data scientists, data analysts, software engineers, so keep watching. For those who don't know, ChatGPT is an AI bot which basically talks to you like a human. And I've been using it as a tutor and a personal assistant. ChatGPT and its competitor like Bard are not going anywhere. So it's about time that we get smarter than all of these chatbots. A quick disclaimer, don't put any of the work information that is intellectual into ChatGPT. Check your company's and school's guideline before using ChatGPT. It goes without saying, be responsible when using ChatGPT. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 ways you can use ChatGPT as a data scientist. Number 1, coding. For coding, I've been using it primarily for 2 use cases. One is to write new code and second is to debug. So for writing new code, ChatGPT does a really good job for writing simple code for simple questions. It is not that great with the complex problem and more logical thinking, but it does a really good job of giving you simple code snippets that you can use in your work. For example, let's say I'm working on a project where I have to create an A/B test. Here, I want to create a sampling group of control and treatment groups, 2 groups with A and B. And I want to have equal sample size in both groups with randomization. So here I can ask ChatGPT to write a code for me that will help me do stratified sampling. Create sample A and B group, stratified on revenue. So basically here it started writing the code for me. It's using the train and test split, which is pretty common in machine learning data sets. So here in this example, I know what I'm exactly looking for. I understand how A/B tests work, and then I just get extra help from ChatGPT to write the code. Obviously, I can write this code on my own, but I want to use that time somewhere else, so I can use ChatGPT here to kind of help me write this code faster. The second area in coding is debugging. So I've been using it for debugging purposes. Let's say if I'm running into an issue with my code where I'm getting an error, I am trying to figure out what is the issue. Typically, I would go to my coworker and have them look at my code. Alternatively, I can go to ChatGPT and save the embarrassment and basically ask the AI what is wrong with it. Find bug in this Python code for linear regression. So this is a code that I had already written. And if you look at the code closely, you can find the bug in the last 3 lines. This is a very simple test, of course, and what I've noticed is that ChatGPT does really well with simple questions, but it doesn't do a great job with complex. But in this case, it's able to find the issue and it's able to give me the correct code. Second, I've been using it to prepare business communication. A big part of the data science job family is communication and storytelling. That includes writing documents, creating slides, explaining to stakeholders, asking the right set of questions, doing analysis, and then explaining your analysis in words, in simple English words. And this is where I've been using ChatGPT, and it's been really helpful in that sense. For example, a lot of the times I have to, as a data scientist, I have to work with business stakeholders. Most of those people are non-tech audience. So a lot of the times I have to translate that technical language into non-tech language. Here I can spend time on my own to figure that out, but I can also use ChatGPT to speed up that time that it's going to take me and ask it to simplify it for me. For example, one of the models that I use quite a bit is causal impact for experimentation space, specifically on experiments that cannot be done with a control and A and B design. So here I use causal impact quite a bit. But a lot of the times I struggle with explaining it to stakeholders. So here I use ChatGPT to simplify what is causal impact in a very simple language. For those who don't know, causal impact is basically a pre and post statistical model for understanding time series data, for understanding the difference in time series data in the pre and post period. And it's basically a model in R that you can use. So here, let's say I'll ask ChatGPT, explain causal impact model in simple language. Create a summary for plot 1, 2, and 3 that it spits out. Here, it did a wonderful job explaining what a causal impact does. And I'm pretty sure if I were to share this communication with my business stakeholders, they would be able to understand it. And not only that, if you are new to causal impact and you're trying to understand and you need somebody to guide you, you can actually use ChatGPT to kind of like look at the simple explanation. So simplify concepts has been a big use case for me with ChatGPT, and you can use it for learning new concepts, or you can use it for simplifying existing concepts that you know for your communication with stakeholders and business people. Of course, as we get more and more surrounded by AI, we do not want to be too dependent on AI, that we lose the side of the brain where we actually do the logical thinking. Because as AI progresses, the side of our brain where logical thinking happens is going to become more and more important, because ChatGPT tool and any similar models out there are going to be able to do simple tasks very quickly. And that's where our cognitive thinking, our logical thinking, our analytical thinking is going to become more and more important. One of the platforms that enables me to think more logically is Brilliant.org, who is also sponsoring this portion of the video. Brilliant.org is an awesome tool for learning STEM subjects interactively in fun, hands-on way. They have several learning paths, including Data Science Foundation, which covers probability fundamentals and builds up to using data in predictions, experiments, and neural network. The problems are super interactive and structured in a way that help me understand difficult concepts in a logical way. It is a great way to keep your mind sharp, especially in the world of AI as the information gap continues to close. To try Brilliant.org free for 30 days, visit Brilliant.org, Sundas, Khalid, or click link in the description. The first 200 people to click will get a 20% off Brilliant's annual membership. Give it a try. You might like the interactive style of learning, which is one of my favorite ways to learn new things. The third way that I've been using ChatGPT as a data scientist is to help me analyze data. Let's say I'm working on some new data set that I don't fully understand. I can spend a few hours doing exploratory data analysis, short for EDA, or I can ask ChatGPT to do it for me in less than 5 minutes.
For example, I have this data set that is from my personal project that I've used in the past. So it's a rideshare data, and I'm going to copy paste it, and I'm going to put it into ChatGPT and ask it to explain the data for me. So here, as you can see, like it's doing a good job explaining. It's going into detail for each column. The second thing I asked it is to give me descriptive stats. And here it's generating that for me as well.
Again, be smart about it. You can rely on ChatGPT for basic stuff, but you still need to fully understand what the data does, what are the different column means. You still need to have the basic business understanding behind the data set to be able to actually use it. It's super powerful tool for summarizing your data quickly. For example, if you want to do some descriptive analysis on your data, you can do that. Let's say if I want to find the mean value of column revenue, I can do that. I can also input a data into ChatGPT and ask it to create visualization. I can also ask it to create tables for me from the data set I give it. So there are so many use cases, and I should probably cover it in a separate video. What are the different ways to analyze data with ChatGPT or any of the similar tools, including Bard. The fourth way I've been using ChatGPT as a data scientist is for interviewing. And I'm going to tell you, like, this is literally, this is my favorite part about working with ChatGPT is the interview prep. There's so many use cases that I can talk here, but I'll share a few right now. And no, I do not mean that use it during the interview. I mean, use it to prepare for the interview. So it's like before the interview. So like, that's cheating. If you are using ChatGPT during your interview, it's cheating, so don't do that. I do not support that. So some of the use cases that I've used it for interviewing purposes or interview prep purposes, one is for coding. So let's say I'm practicing on Lead Code or Scratch, and I have a free version. There are certain questions that solutions are only accessible through the paid version. So here what I do is I actually put the question in ChatGPT and ask it to give me a solution. So for example, I practice coding on this website, specifically SQL and Python questions. I have a free membership, and there are only a set of questions that are available for free. The other set of questions are available. You can view them, but you cannot see the solution. So here, can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually used, I should have bought the membership, but I didn't buy the membership, but I actually use those questions and put it into ChatGPT and ask it to give me a solution. And it worked out perfectly for me. In the future, I will consider getting a membership. Please don't come after me. But this was great. The second way that I've been using it to simplify concepts. So here I've used ChatGPT to basically review the fundamentals and take notes. For example, here, one of the questions that I was preparing for an answer for when I was doing interview preps is in classification regression, there's the concept of precision versus recall. And this is one of the favorite questions in machine learning interviews, where the interviewers like to ask, like, how do you explain precision versus recall? Or they will give you a problem and then they will ask you to, like, what's the precision and recall here? Of course, there's like some business context behind it, but like the basic fundamentals of what precision and recall is. So here I actually use ChatGPT to do so many variations because I realized that I can mix it up in interview setting, and I wanted to get a very dumbed down version, no shame in it. I actually did ask ChatGPT to explain precision and recall to a child. And then later I also found some YouTube videos that were like super helpful in explaining, but this is just to give you an example that I have used it for like super basic fundamental concepts in statistics and machine learning and data analysis, data science, to basically to review the foundations. Besides what I've shared so far, there's so many other ways to use ChatGPT in your day-to-day job, at work and outside work, including writing documentation, writing emails, summarizing meeting notes, writing annual performance reviews, writing peer feedback, automating Excel sheets using VBA code. I cover most of these use cases in this video, so watch this next. Let me know in comments how you have been using ChatGPT. Have you tried anything from the list that I mentioned, or any other creative hacks that you would like to share? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.